sure if there's an official name for this genre of game, but if there isn't, I would like to coin the term stationary shooter. Even if there is, I would like to coin that term because I've never coined a term before, and it's apt here. Stationary shooters are abundant on the Oculus Store. A quick count, and there are at least 9 of them, ranging in price from free to $10 whole. So even though I wanted to play Bandit 6, not Salvo, just regular type, before I finally got my hands on a Gear VR, I never did because they wanted money and I just didn't see the point in paying for it when I could play games very similar to it for free. Plus, I'd been hearing less than favorable opinions on it. But when I saw Bandit 6 Salvo was coming out in time for consumer version of Gear VR, and I saw the updated visuals, I became excited for it. I hoped that the game would be deeper than most other stationary shooters I'd played. Thankfully, this is absolutely the case. I was never a big fan of tower defense, and while this clearly falls into the stationary shooters category and not tower defense, it does share some aspects, I think. In Bandit 6 Salvo, you begin in a military office with files and maps and all the accoutrements one comes to expect from military decor, including an incessantly ringing phone that makes you want to draw and quarter whoever's supposed to be answering it. Everything is done in a comic book style of cell shading that I particularly love, but which some people will be less than fond of, especially considering it deviates from the realistic graphics of the previous Bandit 6. Level selection is the usual list of grayed out images and the 3 medals that you can win in the level. Why can't it ever be 4? Someone should make a game with 4 medals and blow everyone's freaking minds. But it's wrapped in their pleasant military motif inside a folder, each page containing 3 levels. After you choose your stage, the page flips and you are shown level intel, things such as what enemies to expect and where on the map they will come from. There are 2 other folders. One is options, where you can adjust sound, disable enemy health visibility, and enemy direction markers. Why? I don't know. Maybe part of your strategy is not having all of the information. I don't see how that would help, but I have the strategic abilities of a chimpanzee in a coma, so that doesn't say much. The other folder is power-ups, and this is the folder that gives the game its ability to stay interesting right through to the end. I will discuss it more in a minute. Once you choose your level, your attention is brought to a map on the table in front of you. There are 4 pucks on the map, and you have to place your guns on the pucks. It's too bad, really, as more freedom usually means more fun, but since the game is built around this method, I'm sure being able to place your guns elsewhere would either not be helpful or would be far too helpful. At the start of the game, you only have 2 guns to choose from. Machine gun, with rapid fire, and mortar, which is slower but more powerful and fires 2 shots before needing to reload. After 1 or 2 levels, you are given access to the artillery cannon, which is slow, has 1 shot before reload, but is very powerful. Then that's it for guns. If it stopped there, the game would be very boring after a few levels, but let's not forget those power-ups. Many of the power-ups are fairly standard fare. There are defensive power-ups such as shorter cooldown times, decoys, and more health for your turrets, etc. And there are offensive power-ups like more ammo, double barrels, armor-piercing shots, and some cooler ones that I will leave for you to discover on your own. The power-ups are cards that can be mixed and matched and applied to your guns before you begin a level, but there are only 2 slots and that never increases, which I thought was a shame because it meant there were power-ups that almost never got use, even though they might have been pretty cool to see. Once you've placed all your power-ups, it's finally time to start shooting things. The first level is a tutorial. It seems to have been put into the game in case you want your goldfish to play, though if your goldfish can't read, it still won't help, and also, water isn't good for the Gear VR. I would put a short clip of that star with the rainbow trail here that says, "The more you know," except I don't want to infringe on copyright. It explains weapon placement, looking around, pressing the trackpad to shoot, swiping to change guns. Stuff you wouldn't probably know how to do if you were teleported here from 1985 and had never moved your neck before. Anyway, you off 20 bad guys and call it a day. The first real level is only slightly more difficult, though instead of having a set number of kills to make, you have to survive until the end of the timer. This is the method for the rest of the game. The tutorial was confused, I think. Not sure what game we were playing. No big deal, though. The difficulty takes a sharp increase almost right away. Level 1 was a cakewalk, but I almost died on level 2, making it out with only 1 barely functioning gun left, and by level 3 I was losing regularly. The most maddening time was when I lost with only 3 seconds left on the clock. Let's just say I was unable to use the recording of that gameplay. There are a few niggling complaints about the game though. Nothing major, but hopefully things that will be rectified in the next game, if there is a next game. The first is that, at least when using a controller, I wish that there was a way to quick select guns. There are 4 guns, and as luck would have it, 4 directional buttons on my controller. I'm no Leonardo DiCaprio, but I think there's something there. I would also like to be able to tell my guns who to shoot. If my machine gun with standard bullets is trying to waste a tank while I'm being fired at by 70 bajillion helicopters, I would like to be able to say, "Hey you idiot, shoot them!" And my last real complaint is the ending. I have a feeling this is going to be a complaint in most of the games that I play, but this ending takes the cake. It takes the cake and then poops on it so that even if you get the cake back, you wouldn't want it. There is no ending. Just thanks for playing. Maybe a lot of people don't care about endings, but I do. I always have. I don't need a lot, but I would like a little more than thanks for playing after the war I just survived. A final note that isn't really a complaint, but that would have been a nice addition, is multiplayer. Maybe it's coming, or maybe it was too much for the game, I don't know. But I couldn't help thinking that would be cool to have 3 other people there with me, so that when they were trying to take out a tank with standard bullets and I'm being destroyed by 11 billion helicopters, I can shout, "Hey you idiot, shoot them!" I guess I really just want to shout that. I suppose there's nothing stopping me from doing it. Alright, summary. Bandit 6 Salvo is a slick, fun turret shooter with enough customizable weaponry to keep it from going stale before it has earned its $5 price tag. It has very nice graphics and frenetic gameplay that will keep you sweating as you try to outlast the clock. It can be played with a controller or with just the touchpad, meaning that you can keep playing even if your controller battery dies or you forget it at home. It would have been nice to have a bit more control over the war zone while in gameplay, and multiplayer is sadly missed, but for $5, it's hard to hold that against it. Thank you for tuning in to another video. I'm Daryl from VRGiant.com. For the written review and the final score, head over to VRGiant.com. If you want to keep current on all the Giant happenings, hit like and subscribe, and sign up for the newsletter over at VRGiant.com. That's VRGiant.com. Gonna say it again, VRGiant.com. Ow! Sorry. VRGiant.com.